Welcome to episode 3 of Snakestories. I'm just doing a series of videos about gear that I own, features of it. Sometimes there's cool stories involved, sometimes there's not. I'm not going to do a profile of this guitar yet today because there's a lot to go over with this one, and it's got a lot of cool features. Staggered tuners being one of them. Stainless frets, buzz fighting tuning, which is its own thing. Cool blend knob down here. So I'll do this one at a later date, but I thought I would make a good pick to demonstrate, or pick, no pun intended, to demonstrate. I'm going to go over some different picks that I've got, or guitar picks, and why I like them. First of probably a couple of videos, because I have literally dozens of different kinds of picks that I've collected over the years. I've got a couple of fewer. From the sublime to the ridiculous, as you can, I don't know if you can see here. It's a cheddar cheese pick. I'm not going to do that one today. But I have traditionally been, I've got leather ones, I've got wood ones. I have traditionally been a user of plain old Fender celluloid mediums. They give a good solid feel in the hand. I've always kind of liked to use the thinnest pick I can get away with, because I like the attack on the strings, but at the same time, if I use a thin, I find, I'm trying to find one now. If I use a thin, here's a thin, I find I don't, it flaps around too much, and I don't hold my pick, way out like this, so that it would be, ridiculous. I just basically have, I don't know why you can see that, basically just a triangle of the tip sticking out. But I still find that really clumsy, and so I've tried different materials over the years, Dunlop nylons and Hercoflex nylons. They have good control and still a little bit of that flop to them, but they're still even just a little bit slippery. So this is my standard, against which everything else is measured. That's when the construction matters, because you can hear the different materials against the pick interacting differently. If I pull out this leather one, hear how dull that sounds? People like this one because they think it feels like using your fingers. Well, my fingers are less clumsy than that leather pick. But the material makes a difference as it hits the string. The celluloid has a nice stuff all the time, comments all the time about how somebody likes super thick picks. Control is great on them, and they wouldn't use anything else, and they don't lose it. This is a Dunlop, it's a Jazz 3 2mm, which is super thick by my standards because my mediums are somewhere around 0.7. And this is it's a, it looks like a celluloid pick, but it's 2mm thick. Now, a lot of the people that like these are speed pickers. To me, it's very articulate for jumping from string to string, but it just feels blunt and heavy to me, and I don't like this. Similarly, these real small picks, this is a Tortex Jazz 3. It says what the size is, but it feels like about 1.5 millimeters. Now, this problem with this one really is just the size of it, because even though I don't have very big hands, and I'm usually only letting this much of the pick through, I keep feeling like I'm going to lose this one because I can't get enough of a purchase on it. Whereas this one, it feels like it's really solidly in my hand. And I use this baby blue as an example because it is so easy to see on camera. Also, I happened, when I was a poor, struggling young guitar player with only one guitar, and not enough picks because you're always losing them, I happened on a gross of these at the local music store, super cheap. I couldn't pass it up. Nobody wanted baby blue. So, now there are some fancier versions of the celluloid too. This is a Dunlop celluloid. Oh, and I have some really like $1 a piece or $4 a piece Dunlops that I'll do in addition to this video. So we'll call this Picks Part 1. But this is about the same. It's just a tiny bit stiffer. But you can really hear the difference in the attack on that. Now, where you can hear the difference in the material to me is when you drop it. This is a plain old Fender plastic one, and here's a Dunlop. Here it has a little bit glassier sound to it, so it's a different formulation. You can really hear the clack of the strings against that one, so I like those. Now, on a similar note, there are the Tusk picks by Graphtec. I dig these. These are super stiff, but they still have that edge to them. And unlike metal picks, which I will also get into in a later one, I gotta start sketching this out so I don't forget anything. But they don't lose control. And this Tusk logo and this Graphtec logo on the other side actually make a pretty good grip. I'm not big into grips because mostly grips are in the wrong place. They put them up here in the bulb of the pick, and like I said, I tend to hold them down here. So a grip in the wrong place to me is worse than no grip. But now, when I talk about the noise, listen to this one. Sounds almost like it's made out of glass. And then the last thing I wanted to check out, somebody sent me, I see these picks, and I don't have any of them, but there's like what's the one? It's almost like it's made out of glass, and it's super thick. People pay like $5 a piece for them, but they love them. And I don't get it. So someday I'll have one. But somebody sent me these and it kind of reminded me of that, which is what set me off on this whole idea to do this video. These are gravities. It's a clear plastic material, pretty thick. This looks like about 2 millimeters. This is the Gravity Classic Standard. So it doesn't have the problem that a lot of the Jazz 3s do, that some people like, which is that I feel like I'm going to lose it any minute. Because something really tiny in my fingertips just does not give me a secure feeling. On the other hand, I don't like those big Dorito picks either unless I'm playing bass, and that's a whole different thing. But this one to me has a real good. I kind of dig these now. They do feel a little bit clumsy to me because they widen out super fast, and so you can hear I'm kind of. You can hear I'm kind of clacking on the extra strings adjacent to the one I'm playing on. Unintentionally. Also, really dull sound. I'm not sure how it does that. And then the last one I've got for this video, before I jump off, and then I'll come back and do another one shortly. Not today, but in the greater sense of time, shortly. This is a Gravity Edge Standard, and it's a 1.5. Now these were given to me, so I didn't have a lot of choice in the gauges. What I like about this one, just looking at it, is it's got a really defined edge. And I said before, I don't like the Dunlop, the Jazzes, and the other super thick ones because I don't like that really rounded top. I like a very precise picking point, and that's pretty precise. Now, where I predict that it may have some trouble is that, like the other one I have, it's actually it angles out really wide from the tip right away. So we'll see how that one does. I can feel it's kind of doing that. It's actually I'm actually having a little bit of trouble because this is kind of splaying out wider than I expect it to, and the point is getting lost for me. Whereas with one of these, you see how much more acute that angle is. Real nice Clapton. I would say these are probably my favorite if I were starting over and just had to pick one brand and one type of string. The typical kind of classic teardrop shape is called a Tusk A1. They make these in different colors. I'm not sure what the point is if they're different material, but I really like the stiffness of these and the thinness at the same time. But then there's still that kind of classic teardrop shape, which is what my hands are expecting, and I think that's a lot of it probably after 40-ish years of playing, is that it really kind of comes down to everything that this hand does is so muscle memory that I think the same is kind of true of the hand that's holding the pick. So that's something, if you do go experimenting around with picks, give them a little bit of time, because you may find that it takes your hand a little bit of time to adjust. So don't do like I'm doing here and basically writing them off right away, because hey, there may be something more to that. So that's Snakestories episode 3, and we'll call it Picks Part 1. And I will come back sometime in the next few days to a week, depending on what's going on, and do Picks Part 2. That's it for now. Thanks.